Okay, so when you truly honor and have reverence for the creators and the universe and like this fucking the universe that we are in, when you truly begin to revere it and you understand that energy is energy and it can be beautiful, and who are you to stifle whatever the creators have put up here that's not trying to harm anybody and just be who they are and live? Like, who are you to cast judgment and to try to tell somebody what they are and to stifle them from living in their true essence? Do you don't understand what you are suppressing from the universe, from the creators? Because we are gifts to ourselves. We are gifts to those that we love. We are gifts to our communities. We are gifts to those who come across us. We are gifts to the did I say the creators already? The creators. We are gifts to the universe when we are allowed to operate our authentically and freely in who we are. We fucking gift. How do you think we got pyramids and all these wonders of the world that they can't figure out? Because we were allowing ourselves to operate in our authenticity, right? Like, whatever that may be, bring that magic forth, because the magic comes from you being true to self, like in your truth. And if your environment will not allow you to live in that truth, then your environment and the people in that environment is causing, they are, what, how do I want to they they are going against the creators themselves, against the universe. Like, that's a karma that you're gonna have to receive for this person. And I need us to create an environment where even if you don't understand it, you don't have to allow people to tell you who they are authentically. And I'm not negating that, yes, we do have a lot of energies that are distorted and wounded due to the immense and staggering amount of sexual trauma and abuse within our communities. That's a whole other topic. But let's not negate to mention that we have young boys and girls, teenagers, being sexually traumatized and abused and introduced to sexual energies way beyond the time that they should be, therefore disrupting their natural, whoever they would have chosen to be, whoever, because now you have introduced a sexual component to a pure being that wasn't in that space yet to even show and tell who they were. And so that creates a entity, that creates the energy of confusion, essentially, right? Like, you've introduced a dynamic that didn't belong. So even as they are, so now as they are older and trying to and figuring out, you've already told them who they were, even if they're battling against that. And let's not, I really, this is gonna be so long, but okay, y'all gonna watch it or y'all not? Maybe I'll break it down into a couple parts, but let's just go with the flow, Nikki. Okay. And let's not pretend that sexual trauma, being abused, sexually abused, like, does not create its own confusion in itself for the victim, right? Because if you came into this realm to experience life sexually in this dynamic, and then that was interrupted here because you were introduced to this dynamic, sex is sex. Like, our bodies are still our bodies. And I can tell you, as a sexual abuse survivor, that one thing that I dealt with was the fact that my body often responded to the pleasure, to the physical pleasure of my abusers, and I wanted that. I wanted that release. I wanted those feelings. Um, Even if I knew that it was wrong. But when I was younger, I didn't really understand why it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. Like, I knew I was told that it was wrong, but I didn't understand that it was wrong. Like, why it was wrong. And even when I got a little older, like, enough to understand a little bit, it was still like, but this feels good. So, like, that creates a lot of dynamics that we don't talk about authentically and honestly. And I had to get to the point where one time when I was in therapy, and I think I had a moment, like, it's been so long now, I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty much my therapist saying, I believe, like, your body is still wired like a machine, like it's still wired to operate a certain way. So even if you experience these sensations well before you were supposed to, like, your body stored those, it's still, your body responded how it's supposed to respond, like it activated. So you weren't supposed to get activated essentially until this time, and it was activated here in this space. That creates something, like, right, like we can't deny that your body is still going to respond how it's going to respond. So it took me going to therapy until, like, one time where I really was like, okay, and I got to accept that and release the guilt, the disgust, the shame, um the confusion. Did I say disgust? Because I was so disgusted with myself for a long time, and to forgive myself. And then I'm just going off of my experience, because, like, for my personal experience, as far back as I can actually recall, it was men that molested me, right? I don't have any memories of it being a, a woman, so having to also deal with the same sex, right? My one experience with a girl on girl was, I was in elementary school, and as I got older, I was like, oh, okay, they probably were being molested too. But I was in elementary school, probably like, I don't know, third grade, maybe third grade. Went over some girls' houses, and it was the, oh, let's play, and they was like, lay down, we playing this or whatever, take off your plan. Then they gave me some head. Like, the girl gave me some head. And that shit felt wonderful. And then she was like, oh, but you have to do me. And when I did her, that shit was like, oh no, it was gross. I didn't like it. No, thank you. So that was a no for me. Like, really young, I realized, like, really young, it was like, nah. But I wanted her to do me again. And then it was like, okay, I just wanted the feeling, but I was never attracted to women. So that was, I mean, girls, women, like, that was it for me. Like, at that experience with a bunch of sexually traumatized kids was like, it's a no for me, dog. So I didn't have to have that experience of being, like, molested into that, like, that being my introduction. um but I absolutely have compassion for the boys and the girls who were molested by the same sex, because that's what you know from sex, right? So even if it was repulsive to you, your body still was introduced to sex in that component, so you feel good in that component. Oh, I remember, like, coochie rubbing with some girls when I was a kid too, so we did do that. Not bare, with our clothes on, like the friction. But, and that had nothing to do with the gender for me. It was just like, I was young, and it was just like, oh, okay, this will work. Because I think, like, probably when I was 12, is because us as kids, we was humping on each other, we was doing shit, we was sneaking. Y'all know that, like. So it probably was like when I was 11 or 12, I think. But I wasn't. But I probably was before 12. So I was 11. I don't know, one of the two. Where I had that moment when we was like humping and doing different stuff. When I was like, I had a moment where it was consciously like, wait, they're a little younger than me. This ain't right. This ain't right. Like, I had a conscious awareness that even if they weren't all the way younger than me, like a lot younger than me or whatever, it was that moment where I had the conscious understanding, like, this was wrong. Like, it was just wrong across the board. And for me, that that moment shifted everything for me. Like, I understood at that moment, like, right from wrong, like, in the sexual component. Because you got to remember, like, I remember I was taken from my biological home that I know of at like 6, right before, a little bit before I turned 7. But like, one of my earliest memories that I can remember still living with that family is having like somebody's dick in my mouth, or having a male relative or close friend of the family come into the house telling me to lay down and taking out their penis and rubbing it up against me, like, and then like, so I have like, though, and that was before I got into the actual system where, I mean, you free game, you ain't got no protection, and you a kid, like, hey, human trafficking. But that's a whole other story. So, yeah, so mines were with the opposite sex. But I have a lot of compassion for the boys and the girls who were victimized for the same sex, because what kind of confusion does that set you on? So then even here, if you think you like this, or like, it just create. And then my boys, because I have compassion for us girls, don't get me wrong, my boys, I'm gonna have to do a trigger warning on this, being violated and dealing with that as a man, as you not even as a full grown man, but like adolescence, as you grow, especially in our community, when you get in ridicule about every fucking thing. Like, growing up in the hood where I grew up in, I'm pretty sure a lot of the hoods, it's a fucking copy paste, but like, I still hear people telling boys now. I had to tell somebody, I had to tell a couple people, I'll check somebody about a kid. Like, don't fucking tell that 2-year-old not to cry. Nigga, you just yelled at him. You just hit him. Or he just fell. He hurt his feelings. He can fucking cry. He's a baby and he's a human. Like, what do you mean, man up? He not a fucking man. He a kid. And what does manning up have to do with fucking showing emotions and crying because your feelings hurt, or expressing? Like, I don't play. So, but that's the culture, right? Like, oh, we got that fucking stupid ass colonization, oppression bullshit about what a man is. That doesn't, like, that shit's stupid. Why can I not show emotions? Like, right? Um, but anywho, so dealing with all of that, and then the fucking homophobia, and especially growing up in the time that like we did, is where the homophobia really came into place. No, is when I became aware of like the actual homophobia. So, and then like the all of the gay shaming and all the, it just, when you think about it, it's just like we just set up to fulfill, like, we in a place where it's so much, it's just the fucking plantations and all that shit I read. That's all I be thinking, like, all the shit I be reading about plantations and all the shit they did in slavery. I just be looking like it's the same shit. Like, y'all still set us up in the same shit, just call it a community. Get the fuck out of here. Like, nigga, we still on plantations. Because all of the sexual deviance that happens in our communities that we don't get help for, like, fathers molesting and raping their daughters, like, I'm definitely gonna have to do a trigger warning. I probably should do a whole different video on sexual, but I guess this is it, huh? I've come across, like, that has been my journey, being surrounded by people with these pains, coming across people with these pains, these stories, and it being a part of my story. But fathers molesting and raping their daughters and their sons, or adults, like, looking at these little, like, so all of the sexual trauma and bullshit that we have in our communities, right, that we don't address and get help from, and then you add all of the other shit that come with it, like, oh, we're so we know we've introduced this dynamic, okay, and we know that it can cause this, but now if you like another man, you are this, like you're not a man. Bitch, what? How does that even make sense? How am I not? Even if I'm ashamed of it, like how do that's what I know sex as, and whether it was shame and guilt or unforgiveness or whatever also attached to that, it was also pleasure. And and then even for the ones that weren't, even if you just the fucking bisexual man, like so what? I'm still a man. Like so what? So I really want us to get to a place where like we allow people to be who the fuck they are and take all this stupid ass rhetoric out of it. Yes, if you have confusion, or if you were brought into, if you were dealt if you had any sexual trauma, I always say go to therapy and just get you some therapy. And therapy, it's not always easy to find a therapist. Like it's just like dating and doing anything else. Like you're gonna have to go through something to figure out somebody you vibe with, all right? And then you won't stay with them forever. You evolve, you grow. It's okay, and it's all types of therapy. Like if talk therapy don't work for you, try art therapy, try animal therapy, try plant therapy, like whatever it is. But allow your music therapy, like try, but do it under a guided specialist, like a therapist. Um, to know, to just discover who you really are and what you really like, because if you were introduced to sex in a trauma situation, then there's gonna be some stuff there. So just don't be scared to go to therapy. And if you come to the conclusion, whatever your journey was into sex, that you like what you like, then like what you fucking like and like it out loud. Even if that's just to yourself and to your close ones. You don't have to fucking scream it to the world. But whatever your truth is going to be, live in that shit. And don't let anybody make you feel like you a fucking secret, or you have to be a secret, or you have to be ashamed. No. Whatever you organically come to a place that you want, that your truth is, then live that shit. Live it. And that goes to my entire LG, lesbian, gay, transvestite, right? So LGBT, bi. Okay, LGBT community. um, Whatever your journey is, own that shit and live it in it truthfully. The more out loud and truthfully and organically that you live in your truth, then the community must rally around you and reflect that truth. Right now, if you feel like you have to fight so much and that you have to hide so much and that you can't be authentic, it's simply a mirror. Like one thing I'm learning is that life mirrors back to you, right? So if you aren't living your truth, how can we reflect your truth back to you? You have to tell us what your truth is. Sometimes we can help you see it, like we can give you the space to see it, or we may be able to like give you some nuggets to help guide you, but you have to see it and you have to own it and you have to live in it organically. And then as your community, we respond to that. We respond to that. But my and that just does not only apply to the LGBT community. It applies to all of us, all of us. And I'm only speaking to us. Like whoever receives nuggets of information from what I say, I love it because I'm for the best of humanity, like the best of, because it's not only humanity on here. So it's not only humanity on in this universe and on this planet. So I am for the collective of all, and as being in the being of a black woman, I am always always primarily for us, because I know that when black men and black women are at their highest vibration, the fucking universe is like, the hell. So y'all ashamed of saying y'all God. I ain't. So when God is right, the universe is right. The universe is right. The universe is right. You are one. How can you, once you living in your truth and you right, then it's gonna be right. Look around us. Once we heal, we'll heal. So my my passion is for my people. My people. Like black men and women. And I don't care if that means my black skinned people across Africa, across Asia. Like, I can speak of my experience here in America, but if it resonates, like, my passion is for all of our freedom, all of our oppression to come through, like all of our success, because this is our fucking universe, and I know that when we right, the universe is right. So, but my passion and my goal being for us does not mean my oppression for anybody else. It does mean my destruction. It does mean the destruction of anything that stands in our path to cause us hurt, harm, danger, and to keep us oppressed. Um, yeah, but other than that, like, I don't see nobody else. I mean, they there, but like for me, for Nikki, I don't see anybody else. The ones that are allowed into my sight and my vision are the ones that are part of the team. Like, okay, you meant to be here for whatever reason. Like, so melanated people of color, black people of color first, are mine. But my, but I people of color, period. Like, as long as you're not oppressive of us, because we all got some shit in common. Like all of us, no matter what, we all got some shit in common. Something. Um, so yeah, if anybody get knowledge and wisdom, and if I can elevate the whole collective as a whole, great. But my passion is for my people, and I'm always speaking to my people, and I'm unapologetic and bold as fuck in speaking that all the time. Um, so yeah, I need us to get to a place where I wish we could get out these labels, like, not to say that they don't have a place for what they have a place, but not for your identity. Like, your identity is whoever you are. That's your identity. And I just feel like the more labels we put on each other, essentially on ourselves and each other, essentially the more boxes and the more restriction we put in on each other. And the basic shit should pretty much be basic. Like, you sh- the law should be what the law is. Like, I just feel like the law is of the universe is kind of basic, decent shit. Like, don't fucking be abusing people. Don't intentionally cause harm to somebody. Like, you don't fuck with babies. You don't fuck with children. You don't fuck with the children. You don't fuck with the elders, and you don't fuck with nobody. Like, why are you trying to cause harm to somebody? And I think that anything that does should be fucking destroyed. Like, oh, okay, so you chose to do that. Like, oh, so you was going against the good of, oh, because that's what you're doing. Okay, you gotta go. Like, that's just how I feel like it should be. Um, yeah, I definitely think there's balance. Like, I think we have a lot of healing to do. Um, a lot of things to address. I am going to address sexual assault. I mean, sexual trauma and liberation, and like some of the things in that. How you doing? In that category, in another video. And then I think I also want to. Damn, there was something, another message, but it'll come. Um, I like my tea hot. It's not even hot anymore. So yeah, so my LGBT community. Oh, first I was saying boxes. Like, I don't know if I finished that train of thought, but just in case I didn't, and we need a reminder, maybe I need to say it again. My community, but right now I'm speaking to the LGBT community. Just living your truth authentically, whatever that is. Live out loud. The more of an authentic, safe space that you create, the more we can create. The healthier we can keep you, the safer we can keep you, the more we can create to help and support, because it's to support you in your creation of building the foundations and the things that you need, as we are building collectively, because we all kind of saying, hey, this shit ain't right. Like, Do y'all not see how natives across the land are like taking back their fucking power and taking back from colonization and oppressors and shit? Like all these wars that they trying to show y'all, like, yeah, they just showing y'all the blood, but like, do you see what it's about? Do you see the actual war? We fight not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and the rulers and whatever of this world, like the evils, the principalities, the dark rulers of this world. Like, and we collectively, it's the time that we're waking up and we're saying, no, you can't have our resources. No, you can't have our resources. No, you can't have us. No, fuck you, fuck your systems. Like, we don't want you here. We don't need your protection. Like, that's what it is. They give us this fear from their bombs and their weapons, fucking cowards. But at the end of the day, that's all they got. That's all they come with. It's fucking violence. But yeah, we love and light, but bitch, we balance. Let's not forget that we can get violent too. Like, we warriors out here too. Look around your fucking hood. Now imagine if y'all was aiming that shit where it's supposed to be. Imagine if y'all have been training or are training just with that fucking mentality. Like, oh, okay, because clearly some of y'all willing to die for some shit. Like, some of y'all willing to die for some shit. Clearly. Because y'all wrecking lives and y'all destroying shit and y'all dying for nothing that holds nothing for us. Imagine if y'all was training that shit and creating y'all own fucking armies and willing to die for some shit. I don't know. I just be saying shit, you know. Because I couldn't understand how the fuck some of these niggas still walking around and we got whole ass soldiers out here for real. Like, oh, we don't have none of them kind of hitters. Oh, okay, because why that nigga still breathing? Like, oh, we not set up like that for real. We just gon' oh, okay. See, I have to tap out of some shit because I just be like, yeah. So I tapped out of the stories because what we doing? What we doing? Oh, we just gonna let that shit ride? Oh, okay. So, oh, we wasn't going, oh, okay. Well, this ain't what I want to participate in. And everything has its place. I'm not taking away nothing, anything, but balance, motherfucker. Like, nigga, do you know how valuable we are? Yeah, y'all know how valuable we are. That's why y'all, yeah. So, like, oh, it's a life for an eye. Oh, you, oh, you fucked up my eye in surgery on purpose. Okay, it's your life. Maybe not yours. You can have yours. Because I need you to live with the pain. So now it's going to be over here. Like, oh, you took one of our babies. Oh, 5 generations of yours is out. Like, I just go, so, because I feel like it's principle. Like, you forgot who the fuck we are, huh? Oh, okay. Like, and I bet you learn a lesson. Because anytime you come harder, like, oh, you gonna sit the fuck down, right? I don't know. That just turned. So let this off. But be you, be authentically you. I love you all. I hope you understood. And and this part is for my men, my masculines. Be who you are truthfully. Don't let nobody define you in this fucking society. Like, whatever you have to do to accept you, to love on you, to stand in your truth, to figure out what your truth is, first to figure out what your truth is, to learn to accept it and to stand proudly in that shit, even if it's just around your people. Like, nobody has to know your business for you to stand proud on your shit, on who you are. And don't let nobody make you feel ashamed. You love men, so what? So fucking what? You love men and women, so fucking what? Is everybody consensual? Is everybody being honest? Is everybody like, okay, is everybody being safe? Is everybody being respectful, integral? Then fucking love who you love. Like, and it does not define who you are. It doesn't define you. That doesn't define you. So, oh, you just like them. I don't love them. I just like them. But fucking like them. Like, if that's how you get pleasure, then So what? And this is for anybody else, because if you're watching this and you are like having some kind of reaction, you need to do some digging and some therapy and some training and some maybe some reprogramming of your mind, because you might have some of this oppressor mindset in your shit, like even if you think that you don't, because everybody ain't the same and we ain't all supposed to be doing the same. So I don't want to hear that bullshit like Adam and Eve was made. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here. That shit. Like that story. Like whatever storyline you giving me, because none of us have the full story. We all got pieces of a fucking puzzle. So you don't know, and if that's what it is, then that's what it is. You are not the fucking creators. Like, who are you? So if you judging something, maybe you need to be doing some looking inside yourself. Because I personally have always said that I've always looked at anybody that was extremely homophobic, and I'm just like, what you trying to hide? Like, and if you cast and judge, like, what you trying to hide? Why does it matter who they sleeping with or who they love? Like, why is that affecting you? And so I always look at people like that sideways, like, oh, you trying to hide something, like you suppressing something, you not okay with you. Maybe that's something that you don't want to look to, because you're not strong enough to take that journey if it's yours. So all that shit always seems suspect to me. So if you looking at anybody, I'm talking about the LGBT community right now, so I'm gonna just stick with that. But if you're looking at somebody that lives a different lifestyle than you, and you casting judgment, and you like trying to minimize who they are, or you trying to degrade who they are, or you trying to judge who they are, or you trying to change who they are because you don't understand it, or you don't believe it's okay, who the fuck are you? Like, you need to go get some fucking therapy, and you need to do some soul searching, some deeper soul searching with whoever you identify as your creators. And yeah, you need to shine some truths and some lights and do your own fucking work, your own healing work, because you need some healing too. Because why does it matter to you? Why does it fucking matter? Some things I think is ridiculous, and we can like, yeah, there are some boundaries, but I don't think that's from the. There are some things that I just like, okay, that's doing too much, but I don't think that's from like the people in the community. Once again, I think some shit is just about the whoever this leadership is that's supposed to be representing the organization or the community. Like, I just think that the community essentially may need to be like, we don't need no fucking representation, we are who we are. Or if they do have representation, like, have people in power and representation that's fucking representing y'all like authentically and organically. And I personally don't think that it should ever be a white person. That's just me. And if it is, I think that I just said rainbow coalition. Y'all need a coalition because it's diverse. And even in y'all individual stories, like, even in your collective stories and needs, your individual needs are going to be different. So even coming together collectively to like honestly figure out some things that you guys would love, enjoy, what you need, so that we can, so you can begin to implement it and we can support you so that you can speak it. Like, cause yeah, I'm still serious. Like, y'all need y'all own sports teams, and that's okay. Like, create them. People do it all the time. If you feel like there's a need to the fact where you trying to actually take your energy to you taking your energy to do this, what, like, you can create your own and it can be how you need it. And if you not, that to me that's just lazy and destructive and just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And it just shows that, like, are you really ready to live in your truth? Like, how much do you really want to live in your truth? And because I know so many people in the community and they always talking out against like the ridiculousness too. Like, I came to this conclusion by myself that it was ridiculous, but like I know a lot of people in the community that feel the same way about certain shit. So like, why y'all still allowing these people to mass represent y'all without speaking out publicly as well and creating some boundaries and saying no to some shit? Like, if I'm seeing a lot of y'all in the comments, like, yeah, we know that that there's an agenda against children or whatever, or we also don't agree with this, like, why ain't y'all talking? Why is it just like us and we looking why is it just the heterosexuals and it's just like, oh, okay, we looking crazy. Yeah, that's not. But I love y'all, everybody, and live your life, whatever dynamic that is. Yeah. Okay.